Hello, hello, hello. So as always, we're gonna start with a little bit of a life update. So last video, I told y'all a lot about my apartment, just kind of my journey with moving to Austin and trying to refurnish this whole place and what that looked like. And I am so happy to announce that I have officially found a coffee table. Not just any coffee table, the coolest coffee table I have ever had. So I have been on the hunt for a coffee table since I moved here, so like a solid month. And I finally found one that I am absolutely obsessed with. I found this trunk on Facebook Marketplace. It is massive. It's so old. It's a super cool, like antique piece, and I am obsessed. I literally got this entire trunk for $130. It just goes so perfectly with my space and like so perfectly with the vibe that I'm creating, this like antique kind of feel with like some modern touches. I'm obsessed. Obviously, still have a lot to go, but this was my one super cool new find this week and I am so happy about it. Okay, also, in that same vein, I was telling y'all last week about just kind of like some of my money troubles and what all's been going on with my car and move, and it's just been, July was without a doubt the most expensive month of my entire life. So I have a couple updates on that front. One, my car is completely fixed. Almost $4,000 later, my car is fully functional, my AC is working, my battery is replaced. I no longer have anxiety about going out to my car and what state it's going to be in, whether it's gonna start, whether my AC is gonna work. I'm fully fixed. It was so expensive and took 3 weeks to get done, but I'm very, very happy that I just no longer have to think about it. I have to, obviously pay everything back, but I no longer have to worry about the car. So I'm gonna take that as a win. It's fully fixed, fully functional. Now we just have to, worry about the money aspect of it. But nonetheless, we're gonna take it as a win. Also within that same vein, I woke up this morning, so rent was due, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I have a theory, which I'll share in a minute, but I woke up this morning and looked at my rent account to go and pay rent for the first time, and I had a massive credit on my rent account. Like, it wiped out practically my entire rent for this month. I only owe $90 in rent for this month, and when I first saw it, I was like, whoa, this has to be a mistake. Like, why do I have such a big credit on my account? Like, I don't totally understand. But then when I got to thinking about it, I was like, wait, okay, so I signed a 15-month lease that was supposed to come with like a month or two free rent. I thought that they took that free rent amount just off of like the monthly balance each month, so it made rent a little cheaper. But it seems like they're actually charging me full price for rent, but giving me full free month of rent, which is wild. And when I really think about it, I'm hoping that that's the case and that it's not just a fluke and they don't come back next month or the next month or the next month and say like, hey, sorry, there was a mistake. We need to, get that money back. But even if they do, y'all, this is such a blessing for me because like I said, July was just the most expensive month of my life. Like, I need a month to just breathe and catch up with no major expenses so badly. And when I woke up and saw that, I was like, hold on. This is such a blessing. Such a blessing. Like, I have the month of August with no rent payment, and everything that I make can go right towards paying off everything that happened in July. And it is just such a wild blessing, and I feel so thankful. And even if they do come back a month, 2 months, 3 months from now and say that it was a fluke and that it needs to be corrected, I'll be okay. I just needed a month. I needed a month of paychecks with no major expenses, nothing crazy going on. I just needed a month to breathe. And I am like fingers crossed that is this month. I woke up with the biggest smile on my face because I just felt like I could exhale for the first time in a month. I just really felt like I could okay, like I might be okay. Like the anxiety just like washed away a little bit. I was like, I think this is a massive blessing. So those were 2 really big wins for this week. We're gonna say 3 really big wins for this week because I got this new coffee table that I'm obsessed with. My car is fully fixed. I don't have a rent payment this month, which is wild. It's been a relatively really great week. Also, another win for this week, I am now a member at a new gym. So a friend of mine told me that they had this gym. I love to work out. If you haven't been a part of my channel, love to work out. I've been super into fitness, health and fitness for pretty much my entire 20s, but I'm really starting to get back into heavy duty gym life and like training style working out, super like athletic style working out rather than just like weight training or yoga or Pilates. Like I want to get back into super functional training. I love working out like that. I just haven't really had a space to do that. I've been kind of stuck in apartment gyms for the last year. So I just joined this new gym here in Austin and I am obsessed with it. It is the coolest gym I've ever been a part of. So it's an indoor outdoor functional training gym. Everything is it's very rugged and very like everyone's very health focused and just super active. Everyone works out outside in the heat. There are saunas, there are cold tubs. It is bad ass. And I am so excited to like get involved in the community there. I think is what I'm like more excited for than anything else because I think that I'll meet a lot of like-minded people there. So I'm hoping that this is a super beneficial move for me. And I've done a couple workouts there now since I joined this week and it is just so fun. I feel strong when I'm there. I feel athletic when I'm there. I feel on top of my game when I'm there. So I'm hoping that this is just a trend that like keeps on going. But nonetheless, y'all, it's been a really good week. It's been a really good week. I had been taking a couple L's there back to back to back, and I needed this week of just like count your blessings, remember what you're thankful for, everything's going to be okay. And so yes, here we are and the week is over and I am really excited to do this video with y'all. This is a video I have been putting off for quite some time now for a couple different reasons. I think one, being vulnerable about this topic on the internet opens you up to people's opinions and people's opinions. The vast majority of people's opinions on this topic for the last year and a half have been incredibly supportive and incredibly kind, and I've connected with a lot of people on their sobriety journeys and just being able to connect with me and my story and relate it to them. And it's been probably my favorite part of sharing my sobriety journey on the internet. But there is also obviously what I open myself up to by sharing things on the internet. There is a negative side to it as well, and people can be nasty and say mean things, and it's just something that I have to just like brush off my shoulder. But it's also, you know, part of the reason why I've really wanted to get my bearings about me and about this topic before I came back and broached the subject again of my sobriety. So if you have been following my channel for about a year and a half now, so I got sober for the very first time the very beginning of 2023. So January 1st, 2023, I made a vow to do 1 year of sobriety. It was like a challenge to myself. I'll post the videos. I'll post a lot of my videos from the, my year-long sobriety journey this past year. I'll post them in the description section. So be sure to check those out. But I decided to get sober the first time. In the nature of your 20s and being in college and then getting out and trying to, figure out my place in the world and, still having a lot of those same tendencies and lifestyle that I had in my early 20s, drinking was just a massive part of my life, like a massive part of my life. And I've never been very good at controlling my alcohol consumption. I'm generally a all or nothing kind of girl when it comes to drinking, and it was just really starting to take its toll on my life, the trajectory of the goals that I had, my mental space. I was so tired. I just wanted my life to be different. I wanted my life to look different. I wanted a different relationship with alcohol. I think that was really the catalyst for doing that year-long sobriety challenge with myself. And one, I wanted to get in a better headspace. Two, I wanted to get my life back on track. And three, I just wanted a better relationship with alcohol. When I initially did that year-long sobriety journey, which I was successful in, and I have a lot of videos about that year and just how much it meant to me and how much it changed my life. Again, I'll post all of those in the description below. But it really was a super transformative year for me. And I, made it the whole year, and then I went extra 2 months. So I was 14 months sober as of February 2024. So 14 months sober, and it was awesome. I moved to Chicago sober. I made new friends sober. I started a whole new life sober. Like it was really a transformative experience. And I kind of stopped talking. I don't know if anyone noticed, but I kind of stopped talking about my sobriety journey around February or March of this year. And there's a reason for that. So I was very nervous to come on and admit that I had started drinking again. It's not because I've always been very careful to reiterate on the channel that I am not an alcoholic in the classic sense. I'm not a part of AA. I've never, been to rehab. I've never, really felt like I had to cut it out type of thing. Like it wasn't like so detrimental to my life. Not that there's any shame if that is your situation. And I fully empathize and understand that situation. I'm not an alcoholic in the classic sense, but I definitely have a binge drinking problem, no doubt about it. I have no problem admitting that. I have no problem having conversations about that. I think that it's a subject that a lot of people in their 20s and also in American culture just don't recognize as big of a problem as it is. And it's not a massive problem for everyone. There are a lot of people that can drink and party and it doesn't affect them the way that it affects me. But for me, it's a problem in my life. And, such a big part of doing that year-long sobriety journey was the goal, the ultimate goal. My goal was throughout that year was not to be sober forever. I never had that in mind. One, it was a personal challenge. It was something that I wanted to succeed in. It was something that I wanted to feel confident about myself in and proud about myself that I made it the whole year. I proved to myself that I could do it. And I really, my goal when it came to alcohol was to change my relationship with it. I really hoped that when I started drinking again, I would have a completely different outlook on how I drank, the level to which I drank, the level of drunk that I got. I was hoping that my binge drinking tendencies would no longer be. I was hoping that year-long sobriety and everything that I learned about myself and a different lifestyle, and I hoped that it would just change my relationship with alcohol moving forward. So I always knew that I was probably going to drink again at some point. One, because I guess in my mind, I had to test it again, right? Like, can I go back to drinking? Do I enjoy drinking anymore? Has my relationship with alcohol changed? Like, there is a huge part of me that feels a massive loss by not having alcohol as a part of my life, simply because it's been such a major part of my social life. It's such a connector of people. It's such a social thing, right? So I always wanted to try drinking again and see how I felt about it. So my friends all came up to Chicago for St. Patrick's Day 2024, so March 2024. And I knew that was going to be when I started drinking again. I knew if I was gonna drink again, I was gonna do it with my best friends, and it was gonna be for a fun reason, and I was gonna do it right? Like, I had just been sober for 14 months. Like, if I'm gonna drink again, I wanna do it right. So all of my friends come up to Chicago for St. Patrick's Day, which, if you've never been to Chicago for St. Patrick's Day, it is the ultimate drinking holiday, okay? So they were there for 4 or 5 days, something like that. And I was so excited to get to experience that with them. And we did like a cheers at dinner when I had my first espresso martini. Like, Maddie, you did it. Like, it was so exciting. Everyone was so proud of me. I was so proud of me. And I got my espresso martini, which is what I told myself was gonna be my comeback drink. I was so excited. It's my favorite cocktail. Like, it was a moment. I had the moment. We did the thing. It was perfect. And then I went on an absolute bender. It was a 4-day long bender, which was not my intention at all. Exactly the opposite of what I hoped was going to happen whenever I started drinking again. And I knew after that weekend, the minute that they went home, I was like, okay, so my relationship with alcohol hasn't changed. If I want to continue this, it's gonna be an effort to learn how to manage my alcohol consumption and do it in moderation. And, you know, I knew that after that very first weekend, and I continued to drink for March, April, May, June, July, 5 months. I drank again for 5 months. And within those 5 months, I have spent almost every single weekend hammered, feeling like shit the next day. I mean, it's one of those things where I have genuinely made a conscious effort to try and learn how to moderate my alcohol consumption. So I started putting rules. I made a rules list on my notes app on my phone, like my drinking rules. I said no more liquor. I said no shots. I said beer only at one point. I said wine only at one point. I said no more drinking after 10 o'clock. I put an alarm on my phone that says no more drinking, and it goes off at 10 p.m. every Friday and Saturday night. Didn't listen to it once. Like, my problem is when I can go into a night with the best intentions. I can start my night saying, I really feel confident that I'm gonna be able to moderate tonight, and I don't wanna get that drunk. I wanna feel good tomorrow. Like, I can go into the night with the best intentions. And the minute I start to get a little bit of a buzz, I'm like, let's go. Like, I want to party. Like, that's just how it's always been, and that's always been the problem, is I lose all inhibition the minute I start to get a buzz. I just like want to be the life of the party. I want to be a part of everything. I want to go to every stop in the night. I want to go to every bar. I want to go to the afters. Like, it's just, I love that environment, and I love it a little too much. Once I start to get a buzz, all recognition of moderation goes out the window. And I think the biggest turning point for me was, I moved to Austin, and I really have a really good feeling about my life here in Austin. I really feel very comfortable here. This place feels very much like home to me already. I like the vibe of the city. I like how active it is. I love the weather, the people. Like, I'm really, really liking it here, and I could see myself here for a very long time. And my first 3 weekends here in Austin were balls to the walls. I mean, I had so much fun. It was a great time. Like, I've been on boats 3 times. Like, I've been on rooftop parties, like meeting a ton of people. It's been a great time. But alcohol-wise, it has been balls to the walls. And there have just been a couple times, like a couple things that have happened where I've woken up the next day and I've been like, like, one, anxiety is so real. I don't like waking up feeling regretful from the night before, or just not like totally remembering what I did the night before. Also, I'm meeting new people here constantly, and I want them to get the best version of me. I think that was one of my favorite parts about moving to Chicago sober, was that everyone got to meet the absolute best version of me always. Always. I never felt regretful about things that I said. I never wondered if I shared too much. I never got mad over things I shouldn't get mad over. I wasn't drunk crying anywhere. Like, people really got to see the absolute best version of me at all times. And I realized quickly when I moved to Austin, I was like, people are not meeting the version of me that I want them to meet I genuinely enjoy myself sober. Like, I really like who I am. I like the way that my mind works. I like the conversations that I have with people. I like the way that I connect with people when I'm sober. Like, I genuinely enjoy that. And that really is the person that I want all of these new people to meet. And I think it just slapped me across the face when I was just like, I'm not putting my best foot forward in this new city. So that's one part of it. Second part of it is my weekends have been consumed with what the plan is for getting drunk, having that plan, doing that fun thing, meeting people, and then spending all day the next day feeling like absolute shit. Like, I moved here and I had not explored any of the hiking trails I have saved. I had not gone to any of the like, I have not paddle boarded. Me and Louie haven't gone on hikes. Like, I hadn't joined a gym. Like, I just wasn't using my time, my free time, in the way I was struggling to find time to make YouTube videos. Like, I just wasn't using my time in the way that makes me happy, that fills me up inside. I was spending my weekends revolving my time around what the next social plan was and what the next drinking activity was, and then spending all of my actual solid hours during the day, my free time during the day, feeling like shit. And it was really starting to get to me because it was just starting to feel like this perpetual cycle. And I was like, no. This isn't the lifestyle I want to live. And I think that's what was getting to me the most, was that getting sober really just opened my eyes to a different way of life, a different lifestyle that I could live, a different lifestyle that I really, really enjoyed, where I was still incredibly social. I still love to go out, still love to go to a party, still love to go to an after, still love to socialize, but I also really love to wake up the next day and get to experience life, like go out and go on hikes and go paddleboarding and like do all these active things, enjoy going to the gym, go to community events. Like, I just wasn't living the lifestyle that I know that I want to live and that's going to bring me the future that I want to build. I know that I have to build the foundation now in order to build the future that I want to have. And I wasn't doing that. I was living in this perpetual cycle. The same shit that I've been doing my entire 20s is not going to get me to a different place in my future. And I know that. So that's the second point. The third point, and this is something that I have talked about on the channel before and something that really smacked me across the face when I started drinking again. I didn't know, so my entire 20s, I have dealt with depression on and off, up and down. Like, I've always just kind of thought that that was just a part of who I was. I just thought that, you know, this may just be part of my brain chemistry. Like, I don't know a solution for this. I mean, I've tried various different things, but I just kind of thought that that was just a part of me. And my whole 20s were like this emotionally. I mean, up and down, high highs, low lows. Like, the depression was not cool in my 20s. And then I got sober. And I've talked about this before, and I'll post the video below, but those 14 months were the most emotionally stable I have ever felt in my entire life. I felt so even kill. Obviously, bad things happen. Obviously, I got sad. Obviously, like, I had relationship problems. Life wasn't always perfect. I missed my friends, of course. Life had its ups and downs, for sure. But the way that I handled it, the way that I felt internally, the way that I felt up here, was the smoothest it had ever been. And it was really eye-opening to me. Like, it was very obvious during those 14 months of sobriety that like something had changed. I didn't know that there was like a connection between alcohol consumption and depression or just overall mental health, right? Like, I never really knew that. I never really thought about it that way. And then I experienced it. Like, I full on felt the difference. And I was like, okay, this is a game changer. So when I started drinking again, it's something that I definitely kept my eye out for was, whether or not these effects came back. And yeah, those 5 months of drinking were a roller coaster. They were a roller coaster, and I started to feel really, really uninspired again. I started to feel very unmotivated. I started to just feel like I was in a major rut, a major, just perpetual cycle. That's how it feels. That's how depression feels to me. It's just I can't get my feet underneath me. I can't seem to find my footing again. I just want to get my head above water. And those 5 months, I really struggled with feeling like my head was above water. And why I let it go on for 5 months, I don't know. I don't know if I just needed to get to Austin and see if it changed things, get me out of Chicago and just see if my surroundings would kind of change my situation, or if I felt like I needed to be back around my friends and have my community and my stability around me in order to make such a change or recognition in my life. I don't know what it was, but I let it go on for 5 months, and I just had a weekend here 2 weekends ago where I woke up the next day and I was like, I am sad. I had a night out. We had gone out, stayed out super late. We had gone to the pool all day, and then we went out that night, and it was just such a long day, and I was hammered, of course. And I woke up the next day and I was like, whoa, I'm sad. That was a Sunday, and I was like, I feel weird. I feel very dark. And then I woke up on Monday and I was like, okay, this should be gone by now. Why is this not gone by now? I was still just feeling very clouded, very I didn't want to go to work. I was just like, what is happening? And then Tuesday rolls around, and I felt like I was underwater, and I was like, okay, this is a little scary. I don't like this. Obviously, I have felt it throughout those 5 months. I knew that this was happening. I didn't have my blinders on anymore. I knew that this was a side effect of my drinking, and I was taking mental notes as it was happening. But for some reason, this situation specifically really freaked me out a little bit, because it was, I think, the heaviest it had happened so far, and just very obviously after a night out and after a night of heavy alcohol consumption. And that just, it snapped. Something snapped in me, and I was like, I don't want to live like this. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to wake up feeling like this. I don't want to spend half my week trying to recover from the weekend before just to do it again the next weekend. I want to build genuine connections here. I want to build a life here. I want to build a future here. I have big dreams for myself. I just want more. I want more for myself. I don't want to feel like this anymore. And it snapped for me. And I texted one of my really good guy friends, a person that I, confide in often about very deep personal things. And, I asked him that Tuesday, I was like, can we hang out this week? I need to chat. And so we went and we played pool together, and we talked for 3 hours, and I told him exactly how I was feeling. And I told him, that I feel like I need to make a major change in my life, and not just a challenge this time, but a true lifestyle change. And he was super supportive, talked me through it. He heard out all of my, thought processes and what scared me and what was holding me back. And it was just a really good conversation. And I felt so much lighter when I walked away from that conversation. And I had obviously been thinking about this over the last 5 months. I was very aware that alcohol may not be something that I can positively have in my life. I was very aware of that fact, but it felt really real when I decided to tell someone else. It felt very real when someone just listened to me and allowed me to just spew about everything that was bothering me and what my fears were. And it felt very real when I left that conversation. And after that, I have not drank since then. And it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks, and I'm proud of my 2 weeks. I've gone out 2 weekends in a row. I've been super social. I've, kept up the status quo, but I haven't drank in 2 weeks. And so I'm proud. I'm proud. I think a big change this time around is I'm not putting any limitations on what I'm doing on my sobriety journey. I'm allowing my sobriety journey to be completely mine. I don't want to feel like I have any expectations of myself or from other people. I don't want to feel like I've put myself on a pedestal. I don't want to give myself time constraints. I don't want to say I'm going to be sober for forever. I don't want to say I'm going to be sober for a year. I don't want to say 6 months. I don't want to say a week. I am sober today, and tomorrow I will wake up and be sober too. And then we'll wake up and do it again the next day and the next day. I want to take the pressure off of myself this time. I want to obviously share this journey with y'all and keep y'all up to date, because this does feel like a very different sobriety journey than my first go around. It feels more real, I think, because I've had my eyes opened now. I think starting to drink again, I think being sober for 14 months and then starting to drink again, just the dichotomy of those two time periods in my life are very eye-opening. My eyes are wide open, and I want to be very transparent with y'all about my journey. And if I do drink again, or if I'm struggling, or if things are really beautiful, like, I want to share it all this time around, because it feels a lot more real, I guess is the best way to put it. So I'm gonna keep it very honest with y'all about this time around, and just kind of where my head's at and what I'm doing and what's helping and everything that goes into this, because it is a major life change, and it is a very scary life change, and it is a big thing to admit and to take action on. And it's probably my favorite thing that I have connected with people about on this channel. And so I'm very excited to connect with people again and hear y'all's stories. And this will not be the last video where I talk about this, but I just wanted to open the floor again to this topic. I wanted to open the dialogue again about this. And as always, please drop me a comment. I prefer everyone to be nice, but if you want to be an asshole, then go for it. But as always, please drop me a comment in the comment section below. I love to hear from y'all. I love kind words. I love to hear y'all's stories. I love to connect with people on this subject. I think community is such a big part of this, and it really does help all of us to know that we're not alone and there are other people that are in similar shoes. And I just have really loved sharing this part of my life on this channel, and I'm excited to see where it goes and just continue to share this and see how it evolves. And yeah, I'm excited. So 2 weeks in, 2 weeks of sobriety, I'm feeling good. I look good. Life feels like it's going somewhere. Like things are okay. Things are okay right now. Like I feel good. So thank you so much for coming back and joining me today on the channel, and I will see you guys next week.